How's it going, folks? I'm not directly addressing or responding to gun controllers in this response per se. However, many of them could very well be included in this response. They're just not who I'm directly addressing in this response, and who I'm responding to, the crowd of people I'm responding to, will become apparent as I go on in this response. And I have to mention a tactic the gun controllers use because this is where this argument stems from. And I'm going to address the attention to detail or lack thereof of the crowd of people I'm responding to. And we'll start off with the gun controller tactic. Tactic gun controllers use is they'll conflate commercial, off the shelf, non NFA AR 15 such as this. This is actually really more of an AR 15, AR 18 hybrid, but this is my AR 15 prop for this response. They'll take a rifle like this that you can walk into the gun store, fill your 4473 out, get your next check done, pay for it, and walk out with on the same day to model that is designed for the military, or one the military uses, such as our M4s, M16s, or one of the other models like the Dynamicos that the Canadian Army uses, for example. Played it with these rifles right here. They'll claim that these rifles were designed for the armed forces. And of course, there are people that know that they're lying and will respond to them and use the shorthand AR 15 and say, no, these AR 15s are not designed for the armed forces. And the gun controllers are talking about the commercial off the shelf AR 15s. The people who are responding to them are generally more pro two-way anti gun control. They're talking about the commercial off the shelf AR 15s, and the crowd of people that I am responding to over this response will jump in and go, but actually, the AR 15 is a military weapon. It's designed for the Army. Look at this picture of the prototype. Well, nobody was talking about those models. Well, the gun controllers are trying to conflate the commercial off the shelf AR 15s with those models. Those models were designed for the armed forces. However, models like these were not. They were designed for the commercial market. One such way you can tell is if they were designed for the military, manufacturer would just go on ahead and add select fire anyway. Uh, Most armed forces and just about every single armed forces want select fire on their standard issue rifle. Unless, of course, it's like a designated marksman rifle or a sniper rifle. But for the most part, your standard issue infantry rifle, they want the select fire there with that rifle. Yeah, either burst or automatic or both. So, yeah, these commercial off the shelf AR 15s are what everyone calls shorthand in this argument. The AR 15 is indeed designed for civilians. True, there are AR 15s that are designed for the military. The AR 15 is a platform. With that platform, you've got various models and various variants. Um, and even then, some of the purposes vary, from model and variant. So, yeah, the original AR 15s were designed for the armed forces. However, Colt was the first one, I believe, to do this, and they did it in 1963, shortly after the AR 15 was designed. Was they made a civilian model that they designed for civilians. It was released in 1963. It was called the Colt AR-15 Sporter. That particular model was designed for civilians. The military could just get the select fire models anyway, or the M16A1s, which was semi-automatic and automatic, were your two modes of fire with that one. They could buy those anyway. Colt said, "Hey, look, this particular platform seems to be the wave of the future. Let's jump on the commercial market and sell these too." Why? Because this design is really not necessarily military or civilian, but it's just a newer design. You know, it's like, hey, when lever action rifles were designed, they didn't just stay in the hands of military, civilians bought them. When bolt action rifles were designed, sure, the military got several bolt action rifles, but you know what? Civilians did too. Does that mean that that bolt action 22 was all of a sudden a military rifle because, it has the military at one point had bolt action rifles? Excuse me. Um, no. And yes, while the Springfield 1903 back in the day was used by the military, does that mean that all Springfield 1903s are military rifles? No. You had models for civilians. A common one I can think of right off the top of my head. This is actually a shotgun, but you had the Winchester Model 1897, um, and you had two major variants of it that I'm aware of. I actually have the trap model. That actually used to belong to my grandpappy, but there was a trench model as well. Are you going to say that the trap model is the exact same thing, was designed for trench warfare like the trench model was? Um, if you do, you don't have very much attention to detail. So there you have that. And yes, I understand that there are a lot of manufacturers that will market their product as being similar to what the armed forces use. They'll try to, show as many professionals, either military or law enforcement, with their models. It's not necessarily because their models are solely intended for military and law enforcement. However, like all companies that want to sell their product, guess what they're going to advertise their product as? Being the product that professionals sought after. It's just the same with cars. I mean, you're going to buy the car that the NASCAR driver trusts to get around in and drive, or are you just going to go and buy the car that Johnny Pov can barely afford, that can't run, that breaks down all the time, you might be able to get 60 miles an hour out of? I think most people are going to go with the car the NASCAR driver chooses. Tools, same way. Which tool set would you rather spend your money on? The tool set that professional craftsmen use, or the tool set that Johnny's suburb husband uses to jerry rig the toilet back together, just to avoid having to spend the money on a plumber? I bet you most people, when they go to buy tools, they're going to want to go and buy what the professionals trust. It's a marketing thing. it doesn't mean that the Craftsman tool set you buy is necessarily a professional only tool set. And another response I've gotten, another reaction I've gotten from some of you people in this crowd, of people who, when I point this out, that the rifle that's being talked about is a commercial off the shelf AR-15, you guys will turn around and then pedantically say, well, the conversation didn't have anything to do with the NFA or commercial AR-15s. Well, like 99 out of 100 times, if you go through the thread, yeah, the conversation was either started by a gun controller or the original poster was somebody who is sitting there posting clearly to address gun controllers, specifically this tactic. And quite frankly, you'd have to be an idiot to not be able to tell that. So there you have that. Now I'm going to wrap this up here. Folks, y'all have the comment section. And I hope this is educational, especially to the crowd of people I'm responding to. Thank you all for watching.